In the months following its launch, ChatGPT achieved record-breaking growth. Their website generates over 1 billion visits per month, and ChatGPT has over 100 million users. According to survey data, nearly half of people say they use ChatGPT to generate ideas. 20% of people use it to create content, 15% use it to respond to emails, and 10% use it to write code, resumes, and cover letters. To say its use is widespread is an understatement. But how many people actually understand how ChatGPT works? Imagine ChatGPT as a highly skilled autocomplete function. It doesn't just scan the internet for information and synthesize it. Instead, it constructs sentences based on the probability of certain words and phrases frequently used together. It generates responses by assembling words according to the patterns it has observed in its vast training set. ChatGPT is based on a neural network architecture that can process and generate responses for any sequence of characters that make sense. Neural networks are composed of interconnected layers of nodes called neurons that process and transmit information. Neural networks, in some form or another, have been around since the 1940s, though with limited practical use. In the 2010s, the advent of deep learning made neural networks practical and popular. Over the past decade, neural networks have become widely used in everything from self-driving cars to voice assistants. That's because neural networks are highly effective at learning from large data sets and generalizing new situations. ChatGPT's neural network architecture is what's referred to as a transformer model, which is designed for natural language processing tasks. This architecture underlies ChatGPT's powerful ability to generalize. In the transformer architecture, something referred to as the attention mechanism helps the network to process and comprehend complex data by identifying and emphasizing the most relevant information. ChatGPT uses a 12-layer transformer network with a total of 175 million parameters, its training set. This training set is a vast amount of data from diverse sources, including books and websites. In a practical sense, ChatGPT takes a string of text, the input, and generates a response. Let's break that down. You, the user, enter a string of text, the input. The input is encoded into a series of tokens which represent those words or subwords. ChatGPT processes these tokens one at a time, sequentially. The neural network uses a series of attention mechanisms to focus on different parts of the sequence, giving more weight to certain tokens that are more relevant to the task. The network splits out a sequence of probabilities for the next token in the text, based on the input sequence. These probabilities are used to generate the next word or sequence of words in the text. This process involves a machine learning technique called fine-tuning, which helps adapt a pre-trained model like ChatGPT to a new task or dataset. While the original dataset has already let ChatGPT learn general features, fine-tuning adapts it to new tasks by adjusting its parameters. In the case of ChatGPT, the training process includes 3 steps: supervised fine-tuning, the reward model, and the reinforcement learning process. In the first step, supervised fine-tuning, the model is trained on a smaller dataset specific to the task it is being trained for. This data is labeled with corresponding output values, helping the network generate better outputs and ultimately perform better on that particular task. The second step is the reward model. In this step, the model is rewarded for generating outputs that are closer to the desired output. The model learns to optimize its output to maximize the reward signal it receives. In the third and final step, the reinforcement learning process, the model is trained using reinforcement learning techniques. The model receives feedback in the form of rewards or punishments, which helps it to improve its performance. This model is inherently intricate because of the complexity of the datasets and required outputs. One way to better understand its training process is by comparing it to animal studies, where researchers use reinforcement techniques to teach animals to perform specific behaviors. ChatGPT is a powerful and useful tool, yet there are always limitations to be aware of when working with any tool trained on large volumes of data. So, what are some of ChatGPT's limitations? One of the major limitations identified in ChatGPT is bias in its training data. Because its training set is pulled from large volumes of text on the internet, there are inevitably inaccuracies and bias in the data. Some researchers have already shown ChatGPT to demonstrate bias in gender, race, and culture. When used without proper knowledge, carefully worded prompts, and human reviews, this can inherit and amplify these biases. Secondly, ChatGPT lacks the ability to reason and understand context. In other words, it lacks the common sense that humans possess. Because its responses are based on learned patterns, it may struggle to understand the context and reasoning behind a conversation, leading to irrelevant or inappropriate outputs. Despite its limitations, ChatGPT has enormous potential across many industries. Developers can use ChatGPT as a programming partner to generate code, documentation, tests, and even debug existing code. Companies can leverage this newly released ChatGPT API to take advantage of the capabilities of artificial intelligence without having to invest significant resources in developing their own models. This has the potential to transform many industries and create new opportunities for innovation. ChatGPT's impact on the AI industry is significant, opening doors for further innovation and competition. Its potential applications are extensive, especially in the software development field. However, it's important for us all to remember that ChatGPT is a tool, and it's on us to ensure we use the model in a way that's fair, inclusive, and representative of a diverse population. As the technology advances, we can expect to see even more impressive developments that leverage the power of AI to improve our lives and work. With ChatGPT leading the way, we're excited to see what's next for the world of artificial intelligence.